Hey everybody, Adam B. Levine here from Let's Talk Bitcoin. We are checking in again with Tatiana Moroz. Tatiana and I have been working on her Tatianacoin project now for, I guess are we at a month now, Tatiana?
We're a little bit over a month since the initial launch, yeah.
So it's actually been a little while since we've caught up about this. Can you kind of update people on what you've been doing for the last, well, a little while since we've spoken?
Oh, sure. Well, it's been really, really exciting, but I am a little sad that I haven't been able to keep in touch with everybody because basically where I've been, there's been terrible internet. Um, I was in DC for the Bitcoin in the Beltway conference, which was wonderful. Sean's Outpost and my friend Elizabeth Blanchet, and they were kind of all hosting it. So that was really wonderful. I spoke on the altcoin panel there, and people seemed really receptive to Tatianacoin. They still had some questions, and it just seemed like people really liked the idea. Then I went up to PorcFest where I sang and did a performance for everybody. I also spoke on a panel with MK Lords, Lynn Ulbricht, Stephanie Murphy, and Paige Peterson, which I thought was really, really informative and very diverse group of perspectives. MK Lords was also on that one. And then after that, I went out to the National Libertarian Party convention in Columbus, Ohio. And that was really cool because, I did my singing thing and people like that. But I got to be on a panel with Jeffrey Tucker and Ben Swan. And this may have been, in my opinion, the best panel I've ever been on, although the women's panel at PorcFest was excellent. It was really cool because I don't feel that any of us are particularly technical. And we had a room filled with people that basically didn't know anything about Bitcoin but were interested in it. And I thought it was a really engaging talk. And by the time we were done, I'm convinced that everybody in there went out and at least, did some more research, if not flat out just bought some Bitcoin. So that was really, really cool to see a wider group of people accepting it. The Libertarian Party is like a little bit more conservative than the anarchist crowd of PorcFest, which, I mean, PorcFest was just Bitcoin everywhere. So that was really, really fun. And then after that, I started my job at Bitcoin Magazine. It was just announced today. I'm their new sales director, so that's been keeping me very, very busy. And I mean, my to-do list is, I have like 5 of them. On my to-do list is go over your to-do list, which I know that you know how that feels with the launch of LTV Coin. And then I'm here right now broadcasting from Las Vegas. I'm here for Freedom Fest. This morning there was a panel with a bunch of folks about Bitcoin, and it was sort of the same thing. I don't think it's as good as our panel, but it was still really cool. And they're, at the end they asked for questions, and everybody flooded the mic. So even though there's a lot of hardcore gold bugs here, I think that they were realizing that you can actually store value in Bitcoin as well. So it was really,
So it seems like the sentiment has been, because again, it's always seemed like people who see the value of hard currencies in terms of monetary metals should also see a very similar value in Bitcoin, and yet it's been kind of a slower walk. So you think that we're now, it's going to be easier from here on out with that it's just been around long enough?
I think we're hitting that like rocket ship point, and that's why I'm happy about the Bitcoin Magazine thing, because I feel like in addition to being their sales director, they're really welcoming to a lot of my ideas in terms of outreach and content creation. We're going to be doing some videos and stuff. So I think, between my ability to kind of utilize that, plus Tatianacoin, plus what's already going on in the space, I'm just so thrilled with how things are going right now. I couldn't be happier.
Well, so I want to share with you a little bit about what we've been working on with the Coin Powers platform, because again, Tatiana, your coin was the first one that we launched. We really appreciate you, helping us figure out what works and what doesn't. One of the things that we thought was really good about the campaign was the type of user engagement, and that was just in kind of the backer comments area, where if you had supported and had an account, then you could post a comment essentially and talk with you directly. And so this is something actually that we've taken and kind of repurposed a lot of what we're doing around, with the idea that Coin Powers in the future is actually less of a crowdfunding platform or crowd sale platform and more of a user engagement platform. So if somebody has, so if you want to, so basically once the campaign is over, you're going to be able to continue to maintain your page and use our tools on the site to actually manage your relationship and your communications with various types of backers. So if you want to say have something, you have a song that's going to come out early and you want to preview it by your biggest fans, then you could set it up so that people who have more than 1,000 Tatiana coins in their wallet have access to it, but other people don't. They just see it, and and that's like an arbitrary number. If you want it to be 999, you could do that. If you want it to be 1, you could do that. If you want it to be none, you could do that. And so, like, there's this idea, I think, that really the point of what we're doing here isn't so much trying to raise funds for you as it is trying to connect you with your fans, because that's the part I think ultimately that was the most important thing when we were initially talking about this, was being able to cement that connection and make it so that, because I mean, once you've got that connection, you can do all kinds of things. If you wanted to do a fundraising thing, well, it actually helps a lot to know who your biggest fans are already. It can even be kind of a precursor for that. So that's really, I mean, so that's something over the last couple of weeks has really crystallized for us at Coin Powers in a couple of different ways. And so yeah, so right now, actually, if you haven't been to visit the Coin Powers site for Tatiana's campaign, you'll notice that there's actually a number of different features there. In the near future, we're going to have an on-site wallet so that when you and also we've been listening to the feedback. When you place an order, when you actually support something like Tatiana's campaign, instead of just waiting until the very end of the campaign to actually be able to feel like you have something, we're going to give you a credit for it on site so that you can start doing this type of communication on a per stake basis immediately, Tatiana, instead of having to wait until the end like we're doing now. So again, I really appreciate you letting us figure out a lot of these things with your campaign, and I think that, again, this has been a really great experience for us.
Well, you know that I'm a huge supporter of you guys. I have to say that one of the things that I'm most grateful about with this experience is realizing just what a cool team I have, and everybody I think worked really well together. And there were a lot of little bumps in the road when you're learning something, but I'm totally happy to be your guinea pig. And I was going to say that one of my favorite things about doing this coin is that interaction with my fans. I feel super guilty because I've been offline, like, oh, I'm a bad person, but I really like that engagement. I like that daily kind of check-in. So as soon as Vegas is over, I'm gonna be posting a lot more frequently because I really liked that habit. It seemed like I was getting a lot closer with my fans, and they seem to really like it. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Now that we raised some money, I'm gonna go into the studio at the end of August. I mean, we still need to raise more, of course, but I think that teaching people about Tatianacoin, especially because I'm not only dealing with the Bitcoin space, I have a different fan base as well in the libertarian community, which is, obviously ripe for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. It takes a minute for people to really understand what it is. I like that we kind of took the time pressure off of it. I'm a little sad that some people were sad about the loss of that model. Of the varying pricing structure, but I do think that other folks were having a little bit of trouble understanding that. So I don't know. I'm just happy to continue to be able to tell people about it and not have that pressure of, well, my teaching moment is going to be only within a 30-day span. Now we can kind of extend it and grow it organically.
Right, absolutely. I think that that's really key. And that model, I really like that model. I really like the price is however much people, the price is figured out basically by how many people want it that given day. And so that's a fun thing if you're a guy like me or some of the other guys who like it, because we view this all kind of as a game, right? It's trying to figure out how to play the game the best in order to maximize your effort. And so if you create stuff like that, then you can do that. But for people, but for other people who are just looking to literally support you, it's asking them to play a game. So that's the thing, is like some people who want to play a game and view this like that, they're like, yeah, that's great because it lets you play to win. But on the other side, it's just a much simpler model. So again, I think that we're probably going to wind up using both in the future with other projects. Really, it just kind of depends. But yeah, I think that again, when we launched your project, everything was manual. Everything was manual. When we did the distribution the other day, the first 1.5 million, half of the Tatiana coins going out to those people who contributed during the first part of the campaign. That was something where like I literally had to sit there and we had to print out, and I mean like it was in a comma separated spreadsheet, so it wasn't by hand. but it's a pretty manual process. And just even in a couple of months from now, even in a month from now, since you've done that, we've seen Swarm launch, and they have this vending machine set up basically, where you just send funds to an address and it automatically sends you back the token. So again, that's kind of where I see your campaign going, Tatiana. By the time you're done with the rest of yours, you're probably going to wind up with like 1.4 million Tatianacoin left to figure out what you want to do with. And that's kind of what I'm figuring you'll want to do is just, put them into a vending machine that lives on your web page or on the CoinPowers page for that matter, or both. And the money would just go directly to you, of course. It wouldn't go through CoinPowers at all in that circumstance. And yeah, basically just, oh man, I lost what I was saying. But that's the point, is that you essentially can just build this out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and people really are starting to catch on. I'm going to be doing some meetups in the Bay Area, actually, so I'll be visiting you and Crystal. But yeah, so we're doing the Palo Alto. Mel is throwing a party. She runs the Palo Alto meetup, so we're doing a party at her house. I'm going to give an acoustic concert and talk about Tatianacoin. The following day, I'm going to perform at the Paige Peterson spot in San Francisco. So that'll be really, really fun, and I'll play a little bit and hang out and talk with people about it. And then I'll be at Coin Congress, and then there's another event I'm planning with Catherine Nicholson in San Francisco. And then I think there's a Silicon Valley meetup that same time frame, so people kind of have to check in with my site and see where all
So
the
which things is Tatiana going to? All the things.
all the things. The only thing that I'm missing, which I'm sad about, is the Chicago conference. I keep getting messages from people saying, "You coming to Chicago?" I'm like, I have 2 gigs that weekend. I can't make it, but that's a good problem to have.
Totally. So I do have a question for you, Tatiana. I supported your campaign, and I'm curious, are there any of the rewards that are available now? Because you have some things on there that require the album to be produced, but on the other hand, you also have, like Skype with Tatiana and
Hmm.
these other types of things. So are you planning on making those available for people to use their Tatiana coin at some point in the near future? Or do you have a date in mind for that, or are you just kind of waiting
Um,
to see what happens?
Actually, people really can be using those right away. I don't really, I don't know. It hasn't even occurred to me to like inform them of their purchasing power. Thank you for letting me know. Uh, but yeah, I think that people can start cashing them in and taking advantage of everything right away. I'm not sure about the old coins. I don't know. Yeah, I think we could do it. We should talk about how to implement that. But yeah, I mean, I'm available for Skyping. I'm happy to be performing. I'm actually setting up a tour. It depends if I have enough time, but I kind of want to do. I'm playing in Nashville August 15th and 16th, Night of Clarity with my friend Bob Murphy, and I'm thinking of doing some regional meetups and some tours around there. So, I mean, I'm on the road constantly. I don't know why I don't have more frequent flyer miles. I have to look into that. I should be getting something for free by now.
Sounds good. Okay, cool. So you can see the posted rates that those things are available for at the Coin Powers page. And Tatiana, I guess we're also going to have to just kind of update your page with some of this stuff, and again, put in an interface there where people can interact with you directly. Because right now, I mean, the way that I think that, like, like you said, we launched LTB Coin a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm doing things like we were auctioning sponsorships on the Let's Talk Bitcoin show for LTB Coin to the highest bidder, and we're doing I'm also auctioning consulting time, 2 hours a week. And so again, like all of that is super duper manual. It's all happening, on a forum or via email or something like that. So, there are tools that if nothing else, we're developing simply because we need them in
Hmm.
order to do this. So yeah, that's kind of what I imagine will happen. It'll be on your site and on CoinPowers.
Well, I'll be visiting you guys in about week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
we're
maybe
looking forward
that's
to it.
a good time to do it because I know that you're swamped. But if we want to talk about it sooner, I'd love to get that info out to the people. But I thought that was just going to be for once a fun visit versus like fun plus crypto. But I guess
Oh,
we
how
can
can
never
you?
get away from the crypto.
Exactly. There's too much work to do, Tatiana.
I
The work
agree,
is fun.
definitely. But I'm looking forward to lunch over there. Crystal knows how to keep people happy. The kitchen.
Thank you.
Cool. So, are there any questions in the chat that people have, or you think there's anything that people might be wondering about that maybe
Well,
we
I
haven't
guess
talked
I
about?
could look at that. Why don't you vamp for a second? Hang on.
Sure, I'm vamping. Okay, so Freedom Fest has been really interesting. I don't know, there's just so many different shows coming up, so I've just been running around. And then I feel like there's so much going. Oh, I started a women's crypto association. So we're still kind of revamping the site, but if people go to women's cryptoassociation.com, it's a WCA. It's like our nickname. So that's kind of fun. We haven't really launched it, but I am putting it together. It's sort of more of like a Bitcoin thought leaders that are women and that are kind of trying to shape the conversation about Bitcoin and maybe relate to people in a slightly different way. And also, there have been some issues in the crypto space where guys are a little too frisky and it can be a little bit uncomfortable for women. So we want to make sure that those lines are really clearly drawn and that people know that this is a safe space, and we're going to make efforts to kind of help ensure that, not to scare people off. It's not like every place is crazy, but anything in the tech world, this has been something that I've learned is super male dominated and can be a little bit challenging to feel comfortable in. So that's what we're trying to kind of modify. And we have a women in venture capital. My friend Elise Colleen, she's one of our members, and she's going to be offering advice on how to pitch. And eventually, I'd love to see us having a board of women venture capitalists, like Bit Angels, but Bit Angelas. I don't know what you would call them, but
Well, so tell me, what's the difference? Again, like, what do you think the difference is between a standard venture capitalist, which I guess you are defining here as a male venture capitalist firm, versus a female venture capitalist firm?
That's a great question, because this is actually something that Elise educated me on. There's only, in the world of venture capital, there's only 4% women. So if you think about that, let's take sexism aside. Just let's say men, but either way, men still value projects differently. Men see things differently than women. So my thought is that if you're going to have people pitching, and it's always the same type of person that they're pitching to, there's less diversity in the types of innovations that become available. The entrepreneurship is sort of limited. So I think that if you have women venture capitalists, you have a different group of values associated. And also, I think that there's something a little bit intimidating about pitching to a room full of men. I'm not a wuss at all, but I'll admit that that can be a little bit daunting. Not that women are pushovers in any way, but I think that they can be a little bit, their feedback can be a little bit more like motherly. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, because everybody's always up in arms about how women talk about women's issues. But I mean, I know that I take advice a little bit better from women in certain regards, and I think that there's a certain comfort level. And that's not to say that our organization is very friendly with a lot of men. For example, Andrea Santinopoulos supports our efforts. Will Pangman is a big fan. So we want to kind of just open everything up a little bit, and I think that the VC is definitely a really important aspect from that. Are you
All right,
there?
so we have one question. Yes, I am here. Sorry, we have one
Okay.
question, which was somebody asking. Sorry, Gabe asked if the campaign doesn't end now, and that's actually kind of a two-part question. Yes, the campaign will end. Basically, it was supposed to be 30 days, and then it was extended to another 15 days, so the total campaign is going to be 45 days. I don't know exactly what date we're on right now, but I think we have about 10 days left or 11 days left, something like that,
Mhm.
before the end of the Coin Powers campaign. But what we were saying earlier is that at the end of the campaign, in this new model, Tatiana is going to get all of the coins that claimed essentially by a backer beforehand. So at that point, she'll have the ability to do whatever she wants with them. Again, Tatiana, is it safe to say that you probably are going to put them into a kind of vending machine, and then as you tour and as you meet new people, you'll just point them to that, and as they want to get involved, they can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that seems to be just it gives me more time to get people to catch on. I mean, it's the first one. People barely, a lot of the people that I know, they barely understand Bitcoin. So I think that having less time pressure and just having it be something that everybody can participate in continuously, and as they keep selling and eventually sell out, then their value is going to go up, hopefully. And actually, not hopefully, I know it is because I know what I'm going to create. I'm really excited about August. I'm 98% turning down Burning Man in order to record the album that same weekend or over the course of those 2 weekends that it falls on. So I think that once people see that content being created and they see how many more videos I'm going to be putting out, and I think that the Bitcoin Magazine job sort of gives me a little bit more of a street cred kind of thing.
Well, it
I
also means that you're full-time in the Bitcoin space, right? Before you were not full-time in the Bitcoin space, and now you actually have a full-time job in the Bitcoin space, in
Yes,
addition to your music. Yeah.
and a cool job. I mean, the team over there is so awesome, and there's such a, I don't know, there's just like a really great environment where it's like a safe place for launching ideas, and we're just thinking really creatively. I haven't pitched something to them once that they've said, nah, that's like too radical, or no, we don't want to do that. I mean, they're really open to growing and improving the magazine experience, and I'm looking forward to making alliances with other groups and helping them, get involved with us and having us get involved with them. Like Liberty.me is my table downstairs that I'm squatting at, but luckily me and Jeffrey and Tiffany and the team over there were really tight. So hopefully Jeffrey will be writing something. I just, before we got on the air, we were talking with you about potentially talking about what y'all are doing. So with LTB Coin. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of really great opportunities to branch out and to work with others, which is really wonderful.
Well, I think that this has been a pretty good catch-up. We tend to generally go quite long on these. So, Tatiana, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Is there anything else that we should hit here?
Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, I just hope that people, if they have questions, write them in, make sure that you're commenting. Please, if you are an enthusiast, share this campaign, tell people about it. I think it's really only going to go up from here. I'm really excited. And I just want to say, Adam, thank you so much for your help. I definitely could not have done this without you. You've been infinitely patient with me and a wonderful friend in addition to a wonderful colleague. So I noticed that you guys are doing those Skype consulting sessions. I couldn't recommend it enough to people. I mean, Adam is amazing and ethical, and the way that his mind works while being technically sound is really creative. So I think that there's that, I don't know, you can work with a variety of people and they're going to get a lot out of it. And I think that people do need that help in order to get into this. If they want to be creating their own coins, I think that there needs to be some sort of a hand holding still. We're not quite there where you just press a button and boom, you've got a coin. Well, in certain ways, I guess there is. But
Well, it just means the coin is the easy part, right?
yes, exactly. And that's totally true. That was absolutely found out. I thought it was just going to be like, oh yeah, let's just make a coin. But no, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and Lisa, I know, is still doing some consulting on that. I'm available for consulting, but if you want the real consulting, go to Adam. And
Nice, nice
Amos
to meet you.
at Coin Powers has been awesome too. So I just want to, I guess, finish up with thank you, everybody. Thank you to all my backers. Thank you for all the people that have given us press and support, and even the critical feedback has been really awesome. I love how this has been an experiment and something that we've shared with everybody versus, I don't know. There's a great feedback loop. There's a great community growing around this, and I can't wait to see more artist coins come out there. Actually, Wendell and I were talking on the Epicenter Bitcoin. I think that's the Sebastian. On Monday we were talking about the label coin. So maybe when you and I get together, we'll be able to talk about it some more too. But Wendell was super into it, so now I just
Yeah.
have to find time for us to link up and talk a little bit more. But I think that there's a lot more coins to come. So thank you very much, and thank you to everybody.
Well, thank you to everybody. Guys, we'll see you again for the next one of these. Tatiana, when do we have one scheduled?
We don't, but we'll be posting
Okay.
stuff, and I'm going to be posting videos and stuff like that. So, oh, maybe we'll do something live when I come to visit.
Sure, and I might even, well, it probably won't be live when you come to visit, but rather, I probably won't be in when you come to visit, but I probably will actually have a camera back up again by like the week after that, because I'm really almost into my new space. Anyways,
Wonderful.
well, this has been great, Tatiana. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to update us on what's going on, and congratulations on the campaign, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, and congratulations to you and the LTB team as well.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.